everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I think I'm going to be doing the cubic Testhands. Well, I don't think, but I was actually thinking about it for the past few days, and I decided that it would be worth actually putting up a Testhand video for this. It's incredibly fun anyway, so what's the harm in it? And the really awesome thing as well is that I also managed to find my foolish burial goods as well, so that's fantastic. It was great taking out the MSTs and putting this in, so that's quite fantastic. But with that being said, there's not much else to say. Let's just get started and do a few test hands. Alright, so here's our opening test hand. This is definitely quite nice. We have quite a few different varieties of options here available. Firstly, we also have Dooza, so that's fantastic. So I'm going to start off with Dooza. We're just going to summon it out, and basically from there we could just send a cubic card from our deck to the grave. So we already have two Dharmas here, which is absolutely amazing, but I'm obviously going to send off Karma. And now that Karma is actually in the grave, you could think about what you actually want to send next. So I'm thinking, well, with Karma gone, so we're going to actually banish Karma and search up maybe, I don't know, let's go for, where is it, Cubic Nova. And I always just like to have this card out, but you know, with that being said, I have my Cubic Nova, reveal all the cards you need, and then just whip it out. And it's definitely just something that I find to be quite great either way, because you're already going to be depleting what your opponent actually has. And even then, when you're activating the effect from the hand, you're already baiting out your opponent to negate your effects if they actually wanted to. But in that case, we do have a lot of other different options. We have Cubic Dharma. Now, I believe, if I'm correct here, you're only allowed to use one of these effects per turn, so unfortunately I can't activate both, right? Now, of course, we're just going to activate Dharma's effect, and this will allow us to send something to the graveyard. Now, in this case, you could send out another Dharma, but I'm actually going to send out, I think I'll go for the Blade Garudia, maybe. I think that would be an okay option. Or should I go for the Vijam? I don't know, I'm thinking one or either, it doesn't matter, but we're going to draw a card out of it anyway. So I believe we have to shuffle our deck, and we draw a card. So we get Monster Gate. That's definitely amazing, because from here, well, that's on the field, but now we can actually just activate the Monster Gate. So we tribute off our Dooza. Actually, you could even tribute off your Crimson Nova if you actually wanted to as well. That's up to you, but I'm just going to tribute off the Dooza, and we're just going to keep flipping from the top of our deck until we get our first monster. So Monster Reborn, Cubic Wave, that's fine, and look, we got Vijam, so we could actually just bring out the Vijam right here. So in this case, it kind of does actually make me think maybe I should have just got rid of the Vijam instead, and then that way I'll always have the Garudia in the hand, and that would have been a lot better, because in this case at least it gives the option for us to use Garudia. But even so, it's very nice. It does fuel our graveyard, so we do have some more spells there. Normally in this case we could get a lot more to the graveyard through Monster Gate. That's one of the reasons why I kind of like to play Monster Gate in this particular deck, and a lot of spell cards in this deck. A lot of people were actually questioning whether or not this was a good option for me. Like, a lot of people didn't like the fact that I was playing too many spells, but the whole point in why I was playing so many spells to begin with was to actually make Monster Gate a more active card. So yeah, with that being said, Monster Gate was appropriate, but at the same time people also wanted to see me take away the Monster Gates down a few notches as well. But it's something that I kind of enjoyed. But don't worry, I will be experimenting with all of these, and maybe a future deck profile I'll be taking out the Monster Gates, but for now I really like it in the build, and I'll continue that way. Alright, so here's our opening hand. Definitely very different from what we might expect here, but hey, that's okay. We could still actually do some different plays here if we actually wanted to. So for example, we do have the Monster Gates, as definitely quite amazing, and as you can see, this card kind of unbricks our hand. So we have a lot of these here, kind of bad of course. We do have Called by the Grave, which is nice, but we're going to activate the Instant Fusion, and even though we can't actually take what our opponent actually has, keep in mind that we just brought out some other monster outs, and it's just really great in this particular situation, because in this particular scenario now, we could simply just activate the Monster Gate, tribute this away. So keep in mind, those two cards here kind of help us unbrick our situation, and yeah, it just works out quite well. So now we're using Monster Gate, and look at that, we just immediately get Vijam. Most likely this won't happen in actual games. You'll mostly be milling out quite a bit of spells or traps, and that will fill up your graveyard. I don't know, in this particular situation the luck is definitely different, but hey, either way, you have this on the board. Your opponent will definitely have quite a bit of trouble getting over this, but we have Caught by the Grave set at the ready. We also have Cubic Karma and Unification. If you ever want to, you could set it as bait, and even if your opponent destroys it, then they are both going to have graveyard effects anyway, so it's going to be amazing there. But of course this is not particularly the strongest hand, so let's give it another go here. Alright, so very nice hand, very nice start. Obviously you can see here that is our Pot of Extravagance, so keep that in mind. But right here we have Doozer, so we're going to normal summon out the Doozer, and we have to think what we're going to get rid of. We have 2 Karmas here, and while it might make you think, oh, let's just ditch off the 3rd Karma, maybe it's not worth it in that particular case. We could actually go for Dharma, we could go for Unification. I don't know, I mean, it's quite an option. Maybe you could go for Karma because these 2 are in hand anyway, so we're going to go for the Karma. And I'll show you guys what I mean later. So we're just going to go for the Karma, we're going to banish it off, and this will allow us to search for our Dharma, which is very nice, you know. Then from there we could just activate the Dharma, and then we could discard the Karma, draw a card. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to shuffle up, because obviously we're going to draw cards. Alright, so in this case we're going to use Dharma's effect. We're going to discard the Karma, and we're going to draw a card. We got another Vijam, well, not another Vijam, but we got a Vijam, which is nice, of course. I'm not going to complain about that, but we're also going to activate the additional card here. I mean, do you want to actually go for the Karma again? Because technically it's not a hard once per turn, so you could actually just activate Karma in the graveyard once more and actually just do a bit of a search. So in this case I might banish this off, and we might search out our, let's see, where is it, Cubic Nova right here, and we'll shuffle her deck again. Alright, so in this particular situation, you could actually have the option to summon out Nova if you actually wanted to, just to deal with the 3000 at the end of the turn. It's definitely going to be quite pesky for our opponent. But of course we have our Extravagance now, so we're going to activate the Extravagance, get rid of whatever 6 cards you want from the extra deck, it doesn't really matter. And we're just simply going to draw 2 cards, so let's just see here. Actually no, we can't activate Extravagance, I just realized that, because we already did our search anyway, so we wouldn't be able to activate it anyway. Actually no, you might actually be able to activate it, because I think it was for the rest of this turn after it resolves, so we can actually just technically draw the 2 cards. Of course it's 2 summon amongst, it's not particularly amazing, but I'm not gonna like particularly be picky about that, so I'm just gonna set these 2 cards kind of to act out as bait, or you could keep it in the hand and discard it next turn anyway, and then just go for your different plays. For example, if you keep this in the hand, summon a monk and go off next turn. If you keep this in the hand, Dharma will just discard this next turn anyway, so you're more so setting up for your next turns, which is definitely quite nice either way. Alright, so this time we're going to be going second here. This is definitely going to be quite interesting to see what we can actually do. Firstly, I'm straight up just going to go for the Upstart Goblin. Maybe not, we'll go after that later. We'll go for the Summoner Monk, we'll discard our spare Cubic Wave, and we'll summon out the Doozer, of course. So in this case, let's bring out Doozer. Doozer, where are you? Doozer, discard the, or I guess, yeah, banish off the Karma and look for whatever you actually need. In this particular case, I'm thinking, hey, let's just go for, I don't know, should we go for Nova? I mean, obviously we can't really go for Nova anyway, it's not really going to help in this situation, but in this situation we could go for something else. I'm thinking, hey, let's just add Dharma to the hand, so I'm just going to go for Dharma, and from this we have our Dharma, but I want to also shuffle up. Alright, so now that Dharma is here, we're actually just going to go for the Dharma, and we're going to activate Upstart Goblin, draw a card. We got Reasoning, which is nice, so we're going to activate Reasoning and see what we get. I'm pretty sure the opponent will guess wrong, so yeah, but this obviously can't be special summon anyway, so it's going to go. Let's keep going. That also can't be summoned out, so we just keep going until we get a monster that we can actually summon out. So we actually got out Vidjam, which is okay, of course. And yeah, from there we could actually just activate the Dharma if we actually wanted to. So let's think here, what do we actually want to go for in this particular situation? Do I want to activate Dharma in this situation? Because I have Cubic Wave, and while I could get rid of it, it is also a good card to actually OTK that opponent as well. But then again, we don't have it in a Crimson Nova on board, so it's fine. We'll just discard this for Dharma and draw a card. And nice, we have here Yugioh, which is okay because I could use its effect and summon it out. So let's send off one Cubic monster. I'm just going to get rid of the Cubic Seed, Vidjam, and summon this out onto the board, which is definitely quite nice here. And then from this, let's see. Oh well, this is here of course, and we could activate the Extravagance, banish the top 6 again, and draw 2 cards. We got Monster Reborn, and we have here Unification. Very nice, of course, because in this situation we could actually just go for these two. We're going to get rid of them and go for our link plays. So whatever you actually want to go for in this case, you could go for Phoenix, you could go for Cerberus, and if you go for Phoenix or Cerberus, it's nice either way. Just go for whichever one you actually feel is necessary, because you could discard the Unification and actually just destroy one of your opponent's cards. But Unification also has a graveyard effect as well, which is quite nice. Keep in mind we also have Instant Fusion, so we could activate that, go for this, and then go for further link climbing, or you could go for your relinquished or Thousand Eyes Restrict, take one of your opponent's monsters, then link that away, go for an Anima, and then take another opponent's monster. So it's plenty of disruption available for you. It just depends on how you actually play it out and what we actually banished off with the Extravagance. But with that being said, we could also just go for the Reborn again, and then just bring back the Duzo once more. Duzo will use its effect, and no, we're not going to add this time, of course, but we are accessing our deck to get rid of some cards to the graveyard. So in this case, you just want to think, I don't know, what do you want to actually get rid of in this situation? You know, do you want to get rid of another Vidjam? Maybe that might be a good case because of the fact that we have Yugioh here on the field. So, you know, you have your different options. I'm pretty much explaining what you could do, and it's up to you on whether or not you want to do different things. Because, let's see, this particular card's effect is, at the end of damage calculation, if it battled, you could also just target 2 Vidjams, which we now have in the graveyard, and then we could send this to the graveyard and then special summon them out, and then add a Vulcan from the deck to your hand. Of course, you won't be able to add because but this is you can, so it's not mandatory. So you can actually activate the effect to bring out 2 Vidjams, which gives you link materials to go for further link climbing during main phase 2. So it's absolutely amazing because, you know, let's say you had Appaloosa in the extra deck, then you have something great going for you, and your opponent's definitely going to struggle. So I do like how things are actually turning out here. Alright, so I'm actually just going to make this the final test hand because of the fact that this video might actually turn out to be too long. I don't want to make it like a 30-minute video because of the fact that we already technically had a previous test hand video to this. So if you guys want to check out more test hands for Cubics, definitely just check out the first one I actually did. This one's pretty much just a similar thing to it, and this is more so just an expansion to what was previously done before to the deck itself. But with that being said, we do have this here, which is quite nice. Hopefully we could end strongly. So we start off with the Foolish, and we'll get rid of Karma. Wow, we're lucky here. Banish off Karma, and we're obviously going to look for whatever we want to in this case. We do have Dharma here in the hand, which is nice, but I think regardless of the case, we are going to search out the Duzo. I think Duzo is definitely just a great way to start yourselves off in this particular scenario. And where are you? Over here, which is quite nice, of course, and from that we could simply just shuffle up our deck. Alright, so in this case we could go for, let's see, oh actually no, I made a mistake. I should have just gone for Duzo anyway and just sent something to the graveyard. In this case I would actually send off the Unification because of the fact that Unification actually allows us to special summon a level 4 from our hand or deck. I mean, yes, you could summon out this if you want to. You could also summon from the deck, but I'm just going to summon out this by banishing off the Unification, which is pretty awesome actually. Next, we're going to activate the Upstart Goblin. Allows us to draw a card. We got Cubic Wave. Wow, that is amazing. Because, let's see, 1, 2, if we kept the Indiora in the hand and then just left it like that, we could technically have 3 cubic cards to summon out the Nova, which would be pretty awesome. And then we use Unification, summon out Indiora. But yeah, that's definitely quite nice either way. But you know what's the funny thing? By activating Cubic Wave, technically you're already weakening the opponent's monsters and you could go for a big OTK onto your opponent, which is definitely quite nice. At the same time, you could also just go for an XC summon, you could go for a Link summon, whatever you want to, banish off or detach a material, or if you use that as link material, we just want to get Doozer to the graveyard because we have Monster Reborn. Monster Reborn will allow us to activate or bring back Doozer again. Doozer will then send off another card to the graveyard. In this case, we're going to send off Karma again. Karma will then ditch to the graveyard, and then from that we could pretty much just add another card from our deck to our hand. So in this case, you want to think, what do you actually want to go for? Let's go for another Cubic Wave in this case. So one of them we activated on the field, but there's also the graveyard effect. So we use Dharma's effect, discard this, and then we can draw a card out of it as well. So let's just do this really speed-like here, and quickly cut our decks, and we draw one card off the Dharma. We get another Karma anyway, so it doesn't really matter, but hey, either way, I am pretty happy with this anyway. So we have Cubic Wave, go for the big OTK onto our opponent, and again, it's more of an expansion of what was already done. This deck just had quite a few updates here, which I felt was more appropriate for this particular format. But of course, definitely tell me how you guys would definitely play out each of these opening hands. Would you do the same thing, and would you actually try out things that might work for your particular scenario? But with that being said, I definitely hope you guys enjoyed this particular video. If you did, drop a like and share it, it really helps. But at the same time, also subscribe for more videos just like this. However, with that being said, I hope you all have a great day. I'll see you all next time.